There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, folks, the Yonkō Table has set sail yet again. This time, it sights on the Grand Line. That's right, folks. This week on our One Piece Chronicles extravaganza, we are deep diving the Loguetown arc all the way through Whiskey Peak. Now, I know Loguetown goes by many names. Some call it Loguetown, Rogtown, Roguetown. It goes back and forth. I've seen it as Roguetown. I call it Roguetown. I've seen it as Roguetown. I don't care. So we are covering everything from Roguetown up to Reverse Mountain and afterwards with Whiskey Peak, all in this episode. So there's a lot to talk about because Roguetown's a pretty big arc, a pretty big introduction to what is to come to One Piece. But with me, as always, to deep dive this One Piece Chronicles is fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, I see that you have a very accurate 4Kids edit in your background.
I do. We got Captain Smoker, and over here is Captain Chaser.
Oh, they changed it from Smoker to Chaser?
Yes, they did.
Oh,
yes, they did.
I did not know they changed his name.
Captain Smoker ate the smoke fruit. This guy ate the plume fruit or something. You know.
Interesting.
They changed it to make it more, smoking's bad.
Of course.
And that's why he just has smoke coming out of his mouth where 2 cigars would be. But yes, and I again in here to bring a perspective based on 4Kids because these 3 arcs are very interesting under the 4Kids banner as far as were they even shown, and we'll get into it. So I'm here to offer that perspective.
And we welcome it, as always. But we are not alone in this episode. We have Supernovas here to join us today. And let's get into it. Hold on. I gotta ask, how do you guys pronounce it? Like, what do you personally call this arc? Loguetown?
Loguetown. Do they not say that in the English dub? Loguetown?
I have no idea.
I believe in the 4Kids, they called it Roguetown. But I've never heard any. You said Rogtown. I have never heard.
I've heard of Rog.
You haven't.
Yes, I have.
You haven't.
Some people call it Loguetown.
Yeah.
So
let me fact check this.
Listen,
I don't call it Rogtown. I just heard it as Rogtown before.
I told y'all R and the L sounds in the Japanese translations get jumbled up all the time. That's why you have.
What just pulled up. Yeah, like Zoro, Zolo.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Or Rock Lee, they say Ri all the time versus Lee. It happens all the time. So I understand the R and the L disconnect. I call it Rogue or Log or whatever. It don't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's a short arc.
So 4Kids made it Roguetown because 4Kids. Someone said, and
that's my time.
Loguetown actually means epilogue or prologue because it's the adventure begins. So that's why it's called that.
Ooh, how
semantics.
Appropriate!
I did not know that.
Look at that, and you were calling this a mid arc.
I didn't say mid. I said it's short. And it is short.
It is short, but
it's 5 chapters.
And it's 5 of the best chapters of early One Piece you're gonna get.
A lot happens.
Are you okay? All right. All right. Let's deep dive it. We kind of have a feel for what we like to call the arc in terms of pronunciations, but this is the first arc where there's not really like I guess a central villain, right? Because all the arcs beforehand, there's always been like a central. So like Orangetown it was Captain Morgan. And then, you know, they were trying to save Zoro. Then you got Captain Kuro. You got who was the next?
You got that
one?
backwards, but it's okay. Orange Town is Buggy.
Oh wait, what was the island before that with Morgan?
Don't matter. Just Morgan, Buggy.
Fine.
Just name them in order. Yeah.
Arlong. Yeah.
Yes.
Arlong,
Mhm.
Bear, Krieg, Don Krieg, our boy. Okay, so every arc has had a central villain. This one, there's like antagonists a little bit, but there's not like a central person like, hey, we got to go kick this person's ass to progress to the next storyline. Did you guys like that about this arc, or was it like a breath of fresh air compared to early One Piece? There was no big bad they had to defeat.
I mean, it felt pretty like I don't think that's what it was meant for anyway. But like it felt what's the word? It definitely felt as if we were about to get into something. Like there was a shift in One Piece. Like there's many of these moments in One Piece that we get a few episodes or whatever, but they're the most dramatic things we ever get. And then the entire anime just shifts, like power scaling, character development, like everything just takes a big turn. So I think that's what this was doing, and it was introducing us to some people that we never thought about actually, like we didn't think we'd see so early. I didn't think I'd see them so early, but we get introduced to, of course, Dragon, and then Smoker, and then you also have like where Roger was. Like it was a lot like you see in this arc, like you just get a lot out of it, even though it's short, but it was definitely like a turning point.
It's what's it called? It's like a checkpoint type of arc. It's like y'all did this all in the East Blue. Here's your little calm before the storm. It is a transitional arc. The next 3 arcs, yes, they introduce characters. They set up some of the moving pieces that's gonna play into, you know, the bigger saga coming up. And yeah, that's what it's for. I don't think anybody went into this arc expecting some big bad. That's okay, because what they do give us here is cool when you talk long term. You know, talking, nobody thought we'd meet Dragon. We don't even get confirmation that is Dragon until much later, you know.
Right.
But
we just see like a new character, and we're like, who is this guy?
Well, that, and he's got this dude Smoker, like, whoa, what are you doing here? You know.
I think they say his the leader of the Revolutionary Army or something. They mentioned
a name with something. I wish I had the manga volume here. I thought I did. Actually, you know what? Maybe it is in here. I don't know. Nope, this is just Arlong. I have up to volume 10 with me. I have the rest of the volumes at my other place.
Foolish. You should have came prepped.
I should have.
That's okay. Prepped. It's a transitional arc, and so I'm okay with it being that. And same thing with the next couple of arcs. So it sets up the board. It's let's prepare for the next big part of the journey of One Piece. Yeah.
And I agree, because like Kame Chris mentioned it earlier. It kind of introduced the concept of power scaling in One Piece, but in a very unique way. So like what happens, right, is Luffy's fresh off of defeating Arlong, the strongest person in the East Blue. Nami's permanently a part of the crew. And it's pretty much established, you know, Luffy kicked everyone's ass that had a major role in the East Blue. You know, he beat Don Krieg, he beat Buggy, and he beat Arlong. So Oda introduced the concept of the wanted posters. And I think the wanted posters are genius, because even to this day, they are an accurate depiction of like the status of where we are with certain characters and how they're moving up along the world. You see that bounty increasing to the millions and then the billions. You know, people are putting in work.
Luffy was a gag though for a second. I guess before this reveal we're about to see, but like the most recent Barry reveal was kind of a gag because they were putting him so high up, but he didn't technically win. You know, like I feel like they do that where like It
Wait,
could
are,
be
are,
just,
are you talking about like right now in Loguetown?
no, not
or-
right now. Like just in general, like how wanted posters go. Like usually 90% of the time, it's like power scale, like it's accurate. But they did gag us with Luffy. I'm gonna say this past one. I feel like they do that some here and there. Like they gave Usopp a bounty once or something.
Oh,
Like,
the God
yeah, like
Usopp.
Yeah,
But that's
like-
funny. That's contextually funny with what happens
That's what I'm
in
saying.
the
They
story.
gagged it. It was a gag. Like, yeah, they gagged
Right.
Luffy's and Usopp. So they do gag, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So
No, I mean, I guess sometimes they do, right? But at least in Loguetown, it's like only people that are busted are getting high bounties. Because I think beforehand, I don't remember like the exact numbers, but I think Buggy was like, I don't know, like 15 million maybe. Kuro was maybe 20 million. They were all max. I think Arlon max was like 25 million, or maybe 22 million. Luffy, bam, jam spacked with 30 million bounty, the highest in the East Blue. And I think it's kind of funny too, because all the other bounty posters up until then, they had this menacing look of the captains, like, oh, look how badass I am. Look how much of a Giga Chad. Like I'm so serious in this poster. Luffy's just cracking a smile. I think you can see it. Look right there. That's what it is.
yeah,
That's
literally.
the one. Right behind
right there,
me.
30 million.
30 million. And then
Yeah.
like what you said earlier about gags, Usopp kind of pulled Mike Wazowski, where he's like, oh my god, I'm in the wanted poster too. Because he's in the back. You kind of see him like right there.
I mean,
Back of
yeah,
his
but that's Usopp. Like, hey, I'm a fearsome warrior of the sea. I'm on that bounty too. No,
That's funny. And right now it's only Luffy, right?
yeah, Luffy's the only one with a bounty.
Right. Later
Right
on,
now, I think Zoro had a bounty too.
I don't think
So
not
As
Bounty
a
yet.
pirate
hunter.
hunter.
He was a bounty hunter. He didn't have a bounty.
Oh, he didn't have. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he had one yet. I'm trying to remember when it would have been when he got one. I want to say.
No, I mean they
Lobby?
all got their bounties really after Enos Lobby.
Right. Because I remember that was the one where a certain character had like 5 berries as their bounty. I'm sure you know.
Yes,
the pet of the
Yes,
ship.
it
was,
adds to the gag.
It was so first bounty Whiskey Peak for Zoro was 60 million for defeating Daz Bones.
Oh no,
60
man,
million?
he doesn't
Yeah,
beat
that's the
Daz
first-
Bones.
Yeah, it says
So-
first bounty 60 million for defeating Daz Bones and 100 bounty hunters in Whiskey Peak.
Okay, so
Oh, that was
after
okay.
this saga, he'll have his first bounty.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So right now,
Denny's
just the
Lobby was his
captain.
second bounty. Update.
That makes sense. Grandmaster, did you have any takes on the bounties? Did you like this way of like scaling like power level? I guess it's a way to scale power, early on in One Piece. Did you like this method, or were you just kind of indifferent to it?
I think it's a great concept conceptually, and it shows the character growth throughout, or how much threat they pose, or how much the government thinks they are a threat. And it's just funny because yes, the bounties are power scaling. However, Luffy and the crew don't look at it like that. One, they're not fighting these people for notoriety. They're fighting
Right.
these people because they like have some personal stakes in the game, or they just end up having to kick their ass for apparent reasons. But so it's like it works as far as, yes, the power scaling and how the government views threats. But it's also funny because Luffy and them are just like, oh man, how cool. We got a bounty. We're doing great as pirates.
It's
Like
because
the-
they have a bigger purpose. Like he wants to be king of the pirates and find the One
Right.
Piece. Like and anything that doesn't apply to that doesn't matter. So everybody else is focused on, oh my god, he has a 10 billion berry. Like no one cares.
Right. It's like
They don't
it's
care.
literally like, Luffy, we got to be careful now. There's gonna be a lot of people after you. He's like, I don't care. Look at me. I'm
My number
famous.
went up.
So yes, I like the bounty concept, and yes, as the story continues, it becomes cool to do the side by side comparisons, and then of course there are some gag ones that really work. So yes, I think it's a good system, and I think it's it works on many levels.
It does. And I think Oda played a very safe card early on in One Piece when he did not decide to showcase bounties of certain characters. So he didn't showcase Shanks's bounty. And I think that was a smart move, because if he had, that would have had to been the cap, right? Like that's the max, because right to this day, this was like maybe, I'm trying to think like what year this might have been for One Piece. Actually, you know what? A good way to tell.
Well, actually, Roger's the cap. I think we've always known Roger's 5 billion and 500.
Oh, right.
Or like it's some crazy number.
It's something where Oda he's hiding, like he hides these numbers so that he knows these players are going to be at the end of the game. At the end of the story, these players are going to have active roles. So I'm not going to show their bounties, because I don't even think Oda even knew he was going to get into the billions, starting off early One Piece. But he knew whatever number he got to, Shanks, Gold Roger, the rest of them, they were going to be like the highest bounties, like ever.
Well, I think too, he also hides their bounties because, up until this point, we don't know Shanks is an emperor. We just know Shanks is the pirate that inspired Luffy to become a pirate. We don't know Shanks was part of that crew. We don't know these things.
Actually, wait, when did we learn that?
I feel like
was it in this arc?
No.
Wasn't it like
when we learned that Shanks and Buggy were part of Gold Roger's crew?
No. All we learned was that they're part of the same crew. Shanks and Buggy were part of the same crew.
No,
it is no. The moment we learn it,
no, because Buggy made it a point. He was like, I am part of the Gold Roger crew. I don't think Buggy says it. I think it's up to the reader to put it together, because they show a flashback of Roger wearing the straw hat. And that is when you put it together.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Roger gave Shanks the hat. Or, I mean, you put it together that, if that is the same hat, that means Shanks got it from Roger, which means Shanks was part of that crew. And that you have to put it together yourself. And then we eventually get like visual confirmation.
Like actual verbal, like, yes, I was on the crew.
Whitebeard. Right. It's an episode 316. Whitebeard confirms. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, there you go. And then
but Buggy did say in like episode 7 that, me and Shanks are part of the same crew. So from then on, you could probably guess, like eventually somewhere in the story.
Right. But it's like the whole concept of hiding their bounty is definitely it's like a wow moment when you realize, oh my, Shanks is actually a big deal. And we actually get that too here a little bit, because Shanks gets a visit from Mihawk regarding Luffy's new bounty. And he's like,
world building. We didn't get this until then. I mean, right? Isn't it like one of the first instances where we see other things happening?
It's in like the same episode where Luffy's laughing at his bounty. It's everybody sees Luffy's bounty,
right?
And everybody kind of has a little reaction. But then that one is a little longer because it's Mihawk, and it's like, oh God, we haven't seen him. And last time we saw him, he cut up everybody in Don Krieg's fleet and sliced up Zoro. What's he about to do to Shanks? And then Shanks.
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
I was just gonna say, Shanks is like, are you here for a rematch? He's like, no, I don't want to fight you since you lost your arm, But hey, look at this. Isn't this your protege? Isn't this you? Is this you? You did this? He's like, hey, look at Luffy.
That's how I hear him, the Australian accent.
Yeah.
Four kids all the way, baby.
What were you gonna say, Kame Chris?
I was gonna say, I think this was the first time we saw power. Like we got like a understanding of the Marines a bit more and how their power scaled as well. Because I think this whole entire thing it's like this sense of unknown of like how strong are they really? And I know I've like brought it up before, but I know like for this specifically, you see so many characters, you're like, how strong are they? and then you're starting to like trying to figure out what's their bounty, like what, like, you know, how strong is this smoker character, you know, like how strong are these people. And I also, y'all just made me think about Mihawk and Shanks. If they had a rematch, I know we talked about how strong we thought Mihawk was, but I feel like that should be an indication of how like strong he is. If he's getting a rematch, and he's still alive.
Right. Right. He's going up against Shanks, who to this day we don't know what he can do, but we know he's powerful. He has to be like, and he's going 1v1 with, like you said, a rematch against someone like Mihawk. So he's someone that's able to push Mihawk enough to where he's like, I want to fight this guy again. I want to come back for a round 2.
But also he's got enough respect to be like, man, you're missing an arm. This is not a fair fight anymore. This won't be like our other matches. Let's just stop. Like, we don't got to do this anymore.
Which is funny because it's like, how long ago was that for him to come back and say, you don't have your arm anymore? You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you encountered him?
It's probably a good couple of years because Luffy got that whole incident and then Shanks lost his arm.
We have to know what Mihawk's done though. Like, we'd have to know like what's his storyline and all this. Like what he's really done. We don't know. At least I don't know anything.
We don't.
20 years later, we don't know a lick of Mihawk's backstory.
Actually, looking at this bounty page, we still don't even know Mihawk's original bounty. I think you know the bounty of each and every former warlord except for Mihawk. So yeah, there's a gap in his little backstory.
Because the logic with warlords is that they freeze your bounty when you become a warlord, so it's no longer increasing anymore. Which,
so we don't have it.
Right.
There's just talking about. I'm sure that's gonna be explored in the final saga.
I know. I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, I didn't think about Mihawk, but that's a big part to uncover here.
It's a big part. For those listening at the time of recording this episode, they just announced the final saga of One Piece.
Final saga.
Which, I mean, that's going to take another 5 years minimum to get
through. No
easily,
doubt. Right.
Easily.
But so speaking of Smoker, okay, so we haven't had a strong Marine presence really since Axe-Hand Morgan, which
a positive one too.
A positive, right? Smoker is actually, he's got a moral compass. So he's an intriguing character because the Straw Hats have a moral compass. Actually, it just happen to be pirates.
You even see it in your background image where he's palming that girl with his hand. It looks intimidating, but I remember the scene. She bumps into him and drops her ice cream on the floor, and you think someone like Smoker's gonna be like squish her head like a watermelon, but he's like, oh, that's my fault, here's some extra change, buy 2 scoops instead on me, go ahead. And then he sends her on her way.
Ooh, good cop.
Good cop.
Ooh, listen, he's out here trying to do the right thing.
Not all cops are bad.
Blue stripes. Ooh,
don't do that.
No, but you're right. This is the first positive, I guess, influence that we've seen from the Marines. Every Marine that we've seen up until this point, aside from Kobe, but Kobe's not a Marine yet. But every Marine that's part of the Navy up until then, they've just been terrible people.
Sleazebags, right. Underhanded dealings with Arlong, abusing their power with Morgan. Even that dude in the Barati, who's like, oh, there's a bug in my stew,
Oh yeah, that's right. There was a Navy person in that arc. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, they all been slime, but Smoker, he's a stand-up dude for all purposes of the matter. But also too, when we're here talking about the power scaling, he is formidable because he has one. Actually, I didn't realize this. He is our first Logia.
He is our first Logia. And this is the first time in One Piece where I really questioned how are they gonna fight someone like, because I assume from here on out, because they kind of set Smoker up as like the Navy rival of Luffy, right? That arc kind of dropped later on in the story, but for now, this is what it was gonna be. And in the back of my mind, always reading One Piece this early on, I always thought like, Luffy, you can't beat this guy. You can't hit him. What are you gonna do? You punch smoke. Your fists are going through the smoke. What do you do? Like, I don't get it. So this was definitely a part of the story where I was really intrigued on how Oda was going to elaborate on like powers and how people were gonna fight. Because you even see it in this arc when Luffy kind of trades blows with Smoker. You can't hit him. And Smoker, I think he gets saved a couple times by I'm trying to remember who saved him, because there were a couple times Smoker immobilized him and he was able to get away. Well,
he also has the Sea Stone Prism sword.
First introduction.
Right. And that adds to the lore. Anybody with a devil fruit is affected by what? The ocean, of course. They can't swim.
Right.
But you can get Sea Stone, which is from the ocean floor, right? That's how they make it.
Floor. Yeah. And it's a rare element, supposedly.
And it nullifies any effects of a devil fruit. So
I don't know about that rare. They can making sea
oh
stone
no,
bullets.
It's right there. The sea stone bullet stuff. It's one of those things where devil fruits are supposed to be rare, but everywhere
everybody
got one. I guess it's like to the common man. Like, you know, if you're just working your 9 to 5 and you live on your little island, you ain't gonna see a devil fruit in your life ever, unless
really,
you're like,
no? Like just the way this world is set up. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I think
think about it. Like, if I lived in Syrup Village, I'm never seeing a devil fruit in my life until Luffy comes in. But what are the odds of that? What are the odds?
I mean, highly.
I think when you get to the Grand Line, devil fruits are definitely more prominent.
Yeah.
Like, they're not a rarity. You know, they got a devil fruit for just about every gosh darn thing imaginable. Like,
everyone you bump
what
into,
have they not thought of? And then on top of that, too, inanimate objects can eat a devil fruit. Go figure.
Insanity.
This arc also makes me like Loguetown also gives me a mini headache thinking about exactly when certain so when Dragon was there, it was a big deal. Like they're like, oh my gosh, the leader of Revolution Army's here. But now that we see now like the bigger characters, they're always followed by their own entourage or somebody else is looking for them as an entourage, and it just doesn't stop. So it actually confuses me on why, you know, like in these earlier arcs, why there was not enough commotion or trouble in these like areas. You know what I mean?
Right.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like there wasn't enough attention drawn to Shanks. Like there should be like 20 people on like there should be like
I know what you're saying
or something, like
someone like Dragon. Yeah, someone like Dragon, leader of the Revolutionary Army, shows up just randomly on an island. It's like this guy makes waves wherever he goes.
Yes, like
where's the squad? Where's the army? Yeah, they would. I'm sure they'll explain it at some point. And you know, it's one of those things where I like to give Oda a lot of credit for foreshadowing and everything, but I feel like at this point, Oda maybe didn't have an idea yet of like where he was gonna go with like certain characters. So like someone like Dragon, I don't think he really thought like, oh yeah, he's gonna be the leader of this like massive army, this armada with all these powerful characters like Sabo and all these other people. He was just like, yeah, he's gonna be leader of the Revolutionary Army, but he just comes and goes as he pleases. He goes wherever he wants.
So I'm watching it now, and he just refers to, he's like, what are you doing here? And then he's like, I don't know why I said it just like that.
What? Yeah, what was that about? What are you doing here?
He said, what are you doing here? And then he's like, the government wants your head. That's all they say about, they don't call him Dragon. They don't mention the Revolutionary Army. So I think it's just
Wait,
really,
Smoker says that to him?
Smoker says that. He looks up
Okay.
and he looks at him. So I think what you're saying is true. I think Oda I think he said, I know I want Luffy's dad to be like wanted by the government, be like the government's like almost like most wanted list #1. But as to what role or how that would actually look like, he was still developing it, you know?
Right.
And then I think it gets to a point where he's building the story to, you know, oppress or fight against the oppression that would be the powers at best. And it's like, man, don't you think they would have a revolutionary army? Boom. I'm gonna make Luffy's dad the leader of the revolutionary army. Because
troublemaker.
But he knew he wanted him to be, like a troublemaker, you know,
right?
Whatever shape that would be. And you got a way more compelling story saying he's not a pirate, he's a revolutionary. You know, adds layers.
Like,
we love layers
because
like an onion.
Yes, exactly. Like an onion. So we have the whole thing with Dragon, the Revolutionary Army. This is one of the few times we get like these little like Game of Thrones-esque, you know, before Game of Thrones, these Game of Thrones-esque like mini stories where all the characters kind of like split off in different directions and they kind of do their own thing, right? So Loguetown is the home and the death place of Gold Roger. This is where he was born and this is where he was executed. And Luffy goes off on his little adventure. You know, everyone kind of goes off and does their own thing. Where does Luffy go? He goes to the execution stand of the King of the Pirates. And I don't know, I really like that moment, you know, because it's one of those things where you heard about Gold Roger early on in the story, and you're always hearing about like, you know, we're gonna find the One Piece, whatever. But this is like the first time like we're really seeing like the past involved with Gold Roger being manifested in a way like in front of us. Like this is the stand he was executed on. He was here.
Was Luffy supposed to be executed too there, or am I like thinking of something else?
They try to execute him.
Right. I was like, yo, is that not like the whole basis of this? Or am I tripping?
It is. No, right? It's oh, go ahead.
Real quick. So after Dragon blows them away, Smoker then refers to him as Dragon. He says, "Why would you help the man, Dragon?" And Dragon's like, "What reason would there be to interfere with the man's departure?" And then that's it. So they do call him Dragon. They don't say monkey.
I thought so.
They don't say monkey D Dragon. But they say Dragon. But okay. Yes, back to Gold Roger. Yeah, Luffy was about to be executed by some old friends. Some people, buddies. And this confirms, you know, the whole, if you ain't dead, you're alive. What? I don't know. Yes, if you ain't dead, Buggy and Alvida, you know.
Oh, okay.
Just because Luffy pummels you doesn't mean you're dead.
Right. Coming from Arlong, where, you know, that homeboy looks dead to me.
Right.
But he's not. He's still alive somewhere out there doing Arlong stuff.
They have to tell the story of how they lost to Luffy, the king of the pirates.
Exactly. Hey, that's a brag. That's a brag. You're like, hey, I didn't
brag, I guess.
I didn't just lose to anyone. I lost to the future king of the pirates.
Yeah,
but then they ask him, okay, but is this pre-Grand Line? Is this pre-hockey?
There's a did you see that meme? There's a whole meme where it's like it's Crocodile, Lucci, Doflamingo. And,
I have not seen this. It sounds hilarious.
Yes, and so they're all like, and Katakuri, and they're all like, yo, so Luffy used Gear 4 on me, Snake Man. He's like, there's two versions, and then Doflamingo's like, there's two versions of Gear 4, and then Lucci's like, Gear 4, he only used Gear 2nd on me. And then Crocodile's
it's
like,
from that movie.
Yeah, we're the Millers. Yeah, and then Crocodile goes, okay, what's a gear?
Oh man, no, that's hilarious.
Must be embarrassing to be Crocodile.
Right, exactly.
Like, what's a gear?
It is. It really is. No hockey, no gears, just water of all things.
Just blood. Yeah, water.
Another thing another thing too that Crocodile and Smoker kind of have in common that's a little confusing sometimes. It's like they're weaker than Luffy, but stronger than the bunch, if that makes sense. Like, because we saw Crocodile again during
Impel Down.
Yeah, Impel Down. So we saw him again, but fighting. But this is already like Luffy already has gears and stuff, but he's fighting against like at the same level, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Like Crocodile got his ass tore up by Luffy. Like,
right.
And then he is able, like, you just got beat by a weak Luffy with no gears. Now you're fighting against you're fighting at a level at the same of the gears, if that makes sense.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
no, it's because it deals with Smoker, because Smoker in this arc is like seems so OP. Like you don't know, and he's like ridiculous, but then we see him later on get his ass kicked. So he's like one of the it's like those what is it, Logia types that like seem extremely strong, but like some way somehow they just get wiped out so easily.
I think because that's the whole thing. At this point in the story, there was no countermeasure to a Logia type user that we knew of yet, right? So when someone like Smoker gets introduced, we think he's OP because we're like, no, who is gonna beat him? Zoro can't cut him. Nami at this point can't really. What, she has like a staff, I think, or no, not yet.
Yeah, no, she has a bow staff.
She has a bow staff.
Staff, yeah.
Usopp, let's not even go there. Sanji,
exploding superstar.
Usopp hammer. Yeah, like no one's landing a hit on this guy. So then when you go into, fast forward through the story and you see Smoker getting his shit rocked. I think because Oda just ran out of ideas with him. I do think we're going to see Smoker again in the story, but
for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like at that point, Oda might have like a better idea of like what to do with him for like, to have him keep up with everyone else. But like just coming back to Loguetown, homie is powerful. And it's really cool to see that because you're like, I don't know how they're going to win against him. I don't know how they're going to fight him. Because he even has, go ahead.
I feel like there was an easy solution to beating him. All Luffy had to do was like wind his body up, have his arms open, be like a windmill. Done.
Oh my god! You know what? I can see an alternate scenario where pre-hockey and pre-gears, Luffy has to get like with Crocodile, where he had to get creative with water. Maybe there was some idea that Oda had where he's like, you know what? I don't have the hockey thing set yet. I don't have the gears. Luffy maybe he could suck in a Smoker.
Well, they're natural.
You know what I was gonna say?
Well, give him lung cancer while you're at it. Breathing in all that smoke.
I was gonna say, blow him.
Oh gosh.
But like, he inhales like a bucket load of air.
They are Logias at this time are like basically just the elements. I think he was setting up the only way to beat the elements was to introduce their opposite.
The counter, right.
The counter, right. So Smoker, blowing him away would probably
Pokemon.
I'm gonna blow you. Gum blow. I don't know. Like, gum mouth gun. I don't know.
Oh no!
We gotta stop.
But yeah, so it was the natural element that was supposed to be the thing just the counter, right? So
I could see that. So we have Smoker, cool introduction for now. He's also accompanied with another character whose backstory we really don't know too much about. I don't know if Oda's gonna ever go into it, but Tashigi, a character. So this is a character, right? That Zoro going off to do his own thing. He splits off from the crew because obviously he gets lost and all that jazz. He goes off. and he meets Tashigi in a sword shop, right? It was a sword shop. And Tashigi gives him a breakdown of, again, I love this lore expansion, the different grades of blades that there are in the realm of One Piece. Now, I don't know all the blades off the top of my head, but I
forgot about that.
There's exactly, and they kind of touched on it again in the current arc that's going on in Wano.
Like literally a chapter or two ago.
Yes, they touched on it, and it's one of those things where, like, there were grades. There's like different tiers to it, right? And I don't remember all of them. I know there's like the greater swords, and it just there's like a bunch of swords at the bottom. And then the higher up the tiers you go, there's less and less swords, but they're more powerful and they're cursed and everything. So I think Zoro, he got a sword in this shop from the second tier, I think, right? It was the cursed one, the one where he grabs the curse.
Yeah, and he does the whole, if it won't cut my arm, that's the sword for me. And it doesn't. But yes, I was trying to look it up. I didn't want to deep dive into this. I was like, okay, I just want to.
You said it was mid.
No, what I'm saying is this. As far as the grade levels of swords go, the ones from Wano are the best.
Yes.
And that's it. That's all I wanted. That's all I needed to know.
That's all you want?
I wanted to make sure this sword was not from Wano. It's actually the one he picked up. It was to mimic one of the swords from the higher grade levels. That's what I read up on about the sword that he chose. It was supposed to mimic one of the ones. And then because Zoro doesn't upgrade his swords again, I think until Thriller Bark. I think that would be the next time he upgrades his sword.
So do the strong swords come out of Wano, or just Wano has the strongest sword?
Wano has the strongest swords because they're samurai, so they have the best sword makers. However, people try to emulate that, and that's when your tiers start to form as you go down. So
got it.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Or all the good swordsmen, or like people that make swords, blacksmiths and stuff, came out of Wano because obviously they had moved outside of Wano, and that's how. That's how
It started to break away. I mean, there's the whole theory with Kuina's father potentially being from Wano.
Oh right.
I could see it. Yeah.
Right.
I could see it. And I just looked it up. The tiers are, there's the 50 skillful grade swords. So those are like the mid ones. Like they're good. They're good, but it's like there's better ones. And then above that, you got the 21 great grade swords. And above that, that's the highest tier. That's the 12 supreme grade swords. So just for perspective, the ones that we've seen so far are like Mihawk's Yoru, which is that giant black blade that he has, or I forgot the name of it, but Whitebeard's giant staff thing.
That's a scimitar. Scimitars, that's what those are called. Scimitars, whatever. Yeah.
Right, that thing. That's also considered in that tier. So I like this. I thought it was cool early on with One Piece because it's nice to see that, this is probably the thing that Zoro's going to be kind of like striving for in a way. Like he obviously wants more powerful blades as he's going through the story. Because I think, wasn't it at this point? Because his swords got destroyed in Barity, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So he fought Arlong and his crew with one sword style only.
No, he borrowed Johnny and Yusaku's swords.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Right. Got it.
But yes, they weren't.
But he had to give them
katanas.
back, right?
Yeah, he gave them back. They weren't katanas. So
okay. Got it. So yeah, I thought it was cool to see this. Tashigi giving him a breakdown. And of course, the big twist with Tashigi is she looks like
Kuina.
What's her name? Kuina. Zoro's childhood friend that supposedly died by
supposedly she's dead.
I mean, it's so loose though. It's like
I was just about to bring up how she and Tashigi were like way too similar.
They're so similar. They kind of act the
Kuina
same.
is dead. Don't do that.
But
She's
why?
dead.
Why? Okay, here's my thing. Why did Oda go out of his way to make Tashigi look exactly like that character? Just for a gag?
Woman.
Here's a character to push him in ways, and again, he doesn't explain it to her. That's why it's a cool relationship they got built in here, because he never explains that who Kuina is to Tashigi. I think he just tells her at most, you look like my childhood friend, and that's
that
it.
Feels like open story. That feels like
that's open
story dialogue.
That's open.
I mean, it's yes.
Why
it's
did
open
he
for
say
dialogue.
a name? He could have said a name. I bet
because
you.
Zoro's haunted by the fact.
No, but
what do
I'm
you
saying,
mean?
But
that's
you're
my
right.
middle name.
You're right. He has never said a name to Tashigi to say you look like specifically this person from my childhood. Come back at some point in the final saga. He's gonna say,
"Oh, you're crazy."
You know all the times that I was giving you all that trouble. It's because you remind me of Kuina. Oh my God, I'm Kuina. That's gonna be Tashigi. Watch.
I remember when I first saw her, and he had that whole memory, and I remember like not really paying attention too much that during the flashback, and then going back to Tashigi, and I was like, wait, so that's not her? And I remember having to go back and be like, that's not her, but that is her. Is that her? And I just kept going back in my head with it, and I'm like, why would they make her look so similar to his friend, and she be a swordsman, like top class, like in the Marines? Like, come on. I'm sorry, that's hard. That's a hard denial.
And the dynamic between them, it's similar to what he had with Kuina, because back then he did listen. Back then he did not give Kuina the respect that she deserved because she was a woman being a swordsman. That was the whole thing with, she kind of had this character conflict in herself, saying that women can't be sword katana wielding warriors, and then so Zoro kind of did that as a kid. He was like, oh my God, I'm getting beaten by a girl, I gotta keep adding more swords to my sword count to beat her. So in comes Tashigi. He does the same thing with Tashigi. He does the same exact thing. He immobilizes her with his katanas. And then rather than, finishing the job, she even says, why aren't you killing me? Is it because I'm a woman? And right there, Zoro gets pissed.
Okay, everything you're saying is just making it more compelling that he just finds these parallels between the two versus this actually being Kuina.
Out of all the Straw Hats, Zoro is the only one that has not had a backstory that has been developed yet. Think about Sanji, right?
I don't have to think. I'm not thinking about this.
You do.
It doesn't. No, I don't. It's quite simple. There is similarities between the two, and it continues his drive to be the best. Because he's also being the best.
Eat those words.
Until there isn't.
You're crazy. He's also being the best because he made that promise to Kuina that they would compete to be the best swordsman, and that's all it is. And
I swear, if this comes back, and she has anything to do with her, I'm going to clip this and I'm going to play it on loop.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
And then right after you saying this, I'm going to have that exact scene or those chapters that have that exact moment where it proves you wrong.
That's
I know
fine.
for a fact.
That
you have so many Marine fights to go through, so many Marine callbacks. She is the callback, honey. She is coming to off the ship. Zoro!
That's okay. That's okay. It's not gonna happen. So that's okay.
I'm telling you.
Tashigi is a great character on her own. She does not need to be this big reveal later on. The parallels are there. Take it from there.
Okay. We'll see. What else? We have other characters going around doing their own things, right? Nami's going around buying. Was she buying something?
She's just shopping.
Everything.
Just shopping.
Everything. She bought
Everything.
everything.
Usopp's carrying all of it, right? I think that was the joke. That was the gag, or was it Sanji?
Yeah, she bought a map. I think. Did she not buy like a journal or a log or something? A log stuff.
Okay.
Bought like
Usopp also buys a lot of equipment where he starts building his gadgetries and whatnot.
That's right.
So that was a big thing.
Okay. That's cool. So like everyone's doing their own thing. Luffy, like we said earlier, he's going off to visit the execution stand. One thing that, again, I like this little thing with Oda. So two characters come back from Luffy's past, going back to the whole if they ain't dead, they're alive analogy someone said earlier. But Buggy the Clown and Alvida make a return. This is the first time we get characters from the past, like villains, coming back and being reintroduced into the story. And it's cool because for everything up until this point, especially if you're reading the manga, I don't know how the anime handles this. I don't think they do anything with this. I could be wrong. But when you're reading the manga, Oda has these cover stories in the beginning of certain chapters. And they just briefly cover things that are happening outside of the current arc. And everything leading up to this point, there were little mini stories where it showed what happened to Buggy after Luffy sent him flying from Orangetown. Where was Alvida when Luffy sent her flying from her ship, I guess, with Kobe? And those cover stories explain it, and they show that they joined forces, and it culminated in them eventually showing up to Loguetown. I think that's great. That's such a cool way to tell like little side stories of characters that you want to see come back into the limelight again. Oda still does it to this day. I read all those cover stories. I mean, not read, but like, you know, it's like one page and it's just a picture. But I mean, I don't know if they cover it. Do they cover it in the anime at all in any way? Do you guys know? No, they don't.
No.
They don't ever cover those stories. They don't. I don't think they ever do those.
Okay.
Never.
Okay. I like
a filler.
Right. I would think it would be in a filler, but then that like involves like having to go back and like explain. I mean, I don't know.
No, I mean, it is a cool way to stay in touch with characters who you just like, oh, what are they doing? What could they be doing?
Is it canon though?
It's canon.
No,
they
are.
Canon.
They are.
Okay.
Yeah, they're canon.
Oh, I actually didn't know. Like, that's a lot of one pages that I've been looking at.
Yeah, some of them got a substantial like story following the last time we seen them.
They do.
Like, they've done a good amount. Like I know CP9. I know CP9 has done some stuff. The Germa 66 have been doing some stuff.
They have one right now.
So yeah, you can literally go back and see what the heck they're doing.
And some of them are pivotal in a way because, like, for example, with Buggy, the last time we saw Buggy before this, Nami was able to tie up Buggy's body parts together, and Luffy sent Buggy flying where he only had his feet and his head and his hands together. So Buggy had no torso when he got sent flying. So the cover stories show Buggy as like a pair of feet and hands and a head trying to exactly. Okay, you remember
that?
Yes, exactly. He was trying to find his body parts, and then he's able to find them again, and then in comes Loguetown. He's back together again. So
I have to like go back and look at some of them because I just thought about big. Like even the Dressrosa ones. There's specific ones that I like stuck to me that came back just recently.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They're big. Some of them are gags that like, oh, this is just silly. This is just silly stuff going on. But some of them explain some good stuff. So Loguetown. Is there anything else with Loguetown? They make their escape. The Straw Hats.
Yeah, Dragon allows them to escape, and that's really it. Then they're off. But big thing is like you said, Smoker is supposed to be like Luffy's kind of rival now, or just a mainstay. He's
Right.
on the chase. He's on the hunt. He's gonna be after them, which
Mhm.
is a cool. It's a cool narrative point moving forward. That they never had a consistent kind of antagonist who.
Yeah.
Right. So interesting going forward.
Right. And I mean, you could even argue like Buggy was supposed to be like the rival pirate in a way,
Right.
like he's chasing him and trying to keep
Still
up.
is. I
Yeah, oh,
still
yeah, for
consider
sure.
him.
Still is.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when he comes back, it's going to bring it all back. Like, here we go again. Like, it just never changes every time.
I won't say anything right now because I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll tell you guys after the pod.
Sure.
But anyways, so Loguetown, great little mini arc, great palate cleanser before jumping into which is the next arc. Well, I guess we have Reverse Mountain first. So the whole point of part of Loguetown is to figure out how they're going to get to the Grand Line, because they have this interesting thing where you can't just sail into the Grand Line. There's this whole convoluted way that you gotta get what? Shoot up a mountain? Is that the logic? There's like an upstream on like the mountain.
Yeah. The water flows up and you gotta come down. Yeah.
Exactly. And
It's a mountain. Yeah.
It's a mountain. You come off of it, you go into the Grand Line, and there's this moment when they're sailing up the mountain. And I think it's storm. Actually, no, it's before they get to the mountain. It's when they escape. It's when they escape from Loguetown. It's storming, and the OG Straw Hats make this cool little vow where they put this barrel in the middle of the ship, and they all put their feet one at a time on the barrel. Okay. And it's just a cool little thing. Like they all like kind of restate like what their goals are, because everything's been building up to the Grand Line. You hear about the Grand Line, you hear about the crazy stuff that goes down there. Mihawk is from the Grand Line. Like that's where the King of the Pirates needs to conquer. That's where he needs to go. So it's just cool to see, you know, everyone just restate their dreams. You know, you got Zoro, I want to be the greatest swordsman. Probably the last time we hear Sanji say, I want to find the all blue. I don't know if we hear that again. I'm just saying. But everyone's saying their dreams. I think it's a cool moment because I think you get moments like that later in the story, but I feel like this one sticks out to me more. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you feel about that scene.
No, I mean it's cool. It's, you know, just again, it's like it's celebratory. It's like, remember what we're here for, y'all. We're gonna enter the Grand Line and live out our dreams and make sure we'll do anything to come true. So no, it's fun. And again, that's your core cast. So it's nice. And again, we really haven't seen them celebrate as a core, you know, given the circumstances of, you know, Arlong Park, they were split up, Barati, they're split up. So yeah, it's nice. It's a nice little, got the gang back. Let's go do this. So
I think it was like amazing because all they did was talking about going to the Grand Line. Like that was literally episode 1 all the way up until this point. You didn't stop hearing about it. And it just felt like this big open place. You're like, where are they going? And this was the start of probably just the biggest part of like their adventure. Like everything they went through was like pre-hockey, have no idea what they're doing. Like just kind of going on the fly. Now Luffy, it's like, now that we have certain people to keep Luffy in check to, we shouldn't do that, you idiot. Like we need to go this way, or like he's like, I need a shipwriter, and they're like, okay, but like you can't just, you know, think like this is gonna come. And they actually put sense to things, and it gives it a very like a solid direction, because before you're like, I don't know where Luffy's going, I don't know how he's gonna get there. Like, but here we are. Luffy is just living a dream that I have no idea where the story is going, other than the being the king of the pirates. But it gives solid direction.
Some could say the story really started right here.
Right.
It's great. You go up Reverse Mountain, you come down. The first thing they encounter, Whiskey Peak, right? The lighthouse?
No,
or is that a
no.
different thing?
They first encounter Laboon.
Right, but is the area that they're at, what's it called again? The lighthouse area?
No, they're still on Whiskey Peak. They don't. I mean, I'm sorry. They're still on Reverse Mountain.
Okay, so it's part of Reverse Mountain. Okay.
Laboon is at the bottom of Reverse Mountain.
Right, right.
So he's blocking their way. And then, you know, the whole thing is, well, who's Laboon? He's just this whale. And he will play a significant part later on in one of the future Straw Hats' dreams. But also, too, he swallows them, and they meet Crocus, I think his name is.
Crocus, yeah.
And I mean, I can't remember if they revealed it here. Because, okay, so 4Kids really skipped out on all of this. They changed Reverse Mountain. They took Laboon is not a thing in 4Kids. So
how is he not a thing?
Because I even just looked it up too. The scars on Laboon and the fact that Laboon is crashing his head into the mountain, I guess, was too graphic.
They've edited everything else.
Yeah, they edited him out. It's an iceberg. It's an iceberg.
Wait, what's an iceberg?
At the bottom of Reverse Mountain.
They edited Laboon to be an iceberg?
It's an iceberg waiting for them at the bottom of Reverse Mountain.
No way.
And they just, I kid you not. That is,
no way.
Yes. So there's no Crocus. There's no Mr. Nine.
What? No.
Yes. I'm telling you, the next couple arcs are really weird under the 4Kids banner. Yes.
I need to watch this.
Okay, I remember the mountain, but I don't like you said Laboon, and I'm like sitting here like I just don't remember Laboon. Like I just can't think of who he is. Now I understand because I did see some clips and I was very curious of who the hell this whale was. Now it makes sense.
Wow.
Right. Unless you went back and read or watched like the Funimation dub, you would not know who Laboon is. Right.
I had no idea, and I was trying to figure out who is this whale. Like I saw him so many times, like on Twitter and stuff, and I just was like, what? Like I think there was like a meme, they replacing him with something, and I was like, who is this whale? Like
right.
I actually want to go back and watch the 4Kids version of this. I want to see, because like it's it's not convoluted, like the story of Laboon and everything, but like to work your way around talking about the whale, talking to Crocus, going inside the whale, because going inside the whale, that's how they got introduced to
Mr. Nine.
Mr. Nine and Miss All Week, or
no, Miss Wednesday.
Miss Wednesday.
Who is Vivi?
Vivi, right. So you take out Laboon, it's like how did 4Kids edit the introduction for these characters?
They just appear. Like, for example,
that's insane. I gotta watch this.
They get the log
story.
They get the log. They get the log post from Crocus.
Yeah, that's an element in the Grand Line that you need to sail to the other islands.
The log post just appears on the ship.
Oh, it's just there. Like they say, oh, what's this? And they just pick it up.
I know. I think Nami has it, and they just hopefully nobody notices.
Didn't they stop at somewhere and they spoke with someone? I don't think it had. I think the whale wasn't. It was important, but I think the only thing that was important is that they stopped at like a port. Like it was like a port almost. And that's
it was this. It was Crocus's little lighthouse thing.
Yeah, so I don't think the whale had to be there.
Actually, wait, was it inside the whale?
No, Crocus lived inside the whale. Yes, he
lived
did.
inside. He lived inside, but there was a lighthouse outside of the whale too.
I don't know anything about a lighthouse. All I know is that this Laboon is a big thing because there's a Brook. That is Brook's dream to get back to Laboon. And then Crocus too I can't remember if they reveal it here or not, but Crocus was part of that crew.
What crew?
Gold D. Rogers' crew. Crocus was the doctor on that ship for a bit.
He was.
Actually,
He was.
yes.
No, okay, hold on. I'm gonna find it, but this was explained. This was definitely explained, but not inside the whale. I know it was not inside the whale. Whatever happened, this happened like in daylight, like not in the cave.
No, it looked like daylight inside the whale because Crocus painted the inside of the whale to look like it was outside.
What?
Crazy. Yes, I know. It was so because they get swallowed. They get swallowed by Laboon, and they were so confused, saying, "Didn't the whale just eat us? Why does it look like we're outside still?" And then I think someone jumped into like the water, and it was stomach acid, and they're like, "Oh crap, this hurts. What is this?" Yes.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
I think Usopp's the one that went in the water.
It might have been Usopp. It was a joke character. It was someone that just jumped in for whatever reason. I don't remember why. But I remember Crocus painted the inside of Laboon to look like it was outside. But one thing we forgot to mention, just dialing it back a little bit, in Loguetown, we get the reveal that Gold Roger, that wasn't his name.
Oh, is that where we get the reveal?
D. Yes, it was here.
Yeah, Gold D. Roger. Yeah.
Gold D. Roger.
Was
Actually,
that not
wait,
in the beginning? No. I swear they said that at the beginning of every episode. Like Gold D. Roger, or I forgot how it went.
Listen,
no. From the beginning, the perception was Gold Roger. We always thought it was Gold Roger.
Yes, because translation-wise, they thought it was gold. No, it was Gold D. Roger. And
actually, wait, am I mixing it up with the doctor? What's her name?
Oh, Kureha. Yeah, Kureha. Yeah.
Was she the reveal?
Yeah, I think she says it. Yeah,
okay, that might have been later.
I think she mentions the will of D, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
But,
so still Gold Roger. Never mind.
But no. Still though, I mean, part of the problem was the translation over. It was always Gold D. Roger.
Right.
And yeah, so some silliness.
Yeah.
But yes.
It's Gold Roger, and then they introduced it.
Right. But yeah, just this 4 kids foolishness is terrible.
Can you imagine if they got that far? With
exactly
4 kids?
right.
They got to Brooke.
Right. Exactly.
What
Brooke would have said, "I knew an iceberg. I want to go back and see that iceberg." Yo ho ho. That's it. That's it.
And the thing is, the character is so Brooke is so dumb. It's like you would believe it too because he's silly. I'm like, okay, I would believe it. He does want to go see an iceberg for whatever reason. That's funny. They probably would have spun it where it's like, yeah, that was the last time me and my crew celebrated. It was at that iceberg, before everything happened.
I'm so glad they didn't get this far because that's way too long.
Why not?
That's way too much.
I wanted to see.
That's way too much. No.
I wanted to see how creative they were gonna get as it went on.
Hell no. I'm okay without it. But yeah, they make the promise to Laboon. Luffy's like, "I'm gonna find the crew that you made friends with and bring them back to you." And they're rivals because Luffy was beating up Laboon at one point. So that's the biggest thing with Laboon, So it's sad. Laboon has a sad story.
Right. Actually, wait, what was the story again?
He's waiting for the crew to come back.
Right.
Oh, right. I did. Okay, so this is very familiar. The whale was waiting, and they never came.
Because they all died. They all died. Right. And Laboon doesn't know they all died.
Was he like a baby whale when that happened?
Baby whale.
Yes.
Okay. I did. Okay, I might have seen this then. I just very faded memory.
They call it one of the more sadder One Piece like backstories, and it is sad. Like, and it's that typical, the dog waits at the station and
it's that episode of Futurama.
Yeah, exactly.
The dog.
The dog that waits for Fry. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Best episode.
Very good episode, right? So yeah, they make friends. He paints the straw hat symbol on him.
He says,
And now
"Don't be
they're-
banging your head against
Yeah,
the wall.
don't be banging your
'cause
head,
it's
right?
gonna wash off."
Yes.
So
Mhm.
that's nice. And like you said earlier, Crocus gives Nami the log pose.
Yeah, so the
and
log pose.
It's a rule in the Grand Line. You can't just sail wherever the hell you want, because the magnetic fields, like if you bring a normal compass and you're sailing, the direction you think you're sailing in is not the direction you're actually going in, and you could get killed.
There's like 3 lines or like 3 like
The
like
calm belt.
Yeah. And each one is the measure for whichever direction, and they made that so convoluted that only Nami could understand. Like it was.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think even Crocus made a joke to them, because they're like, "You came into the Grand Line and you don't know what a
without
log pose." And Nami felt insulted because she was like, "I didn't know." Like, what do you want me to do? So that was funny. And I think it's cool too, because there's like set rules in here that are not normal that you would experience in like one of the regular oceans. You do not need a log pose in the East Blue. You just sailed wherever you wanted to go.
Right,
Hell,
but-
that's what they're doing now.
Right, but the log pose points them to the next island.
Right.
You know, that way they don't wander off into because one of the belts has nothing but sea kings, and they'll get destroyed.
Actually, both belts, because that's like the Grand Line is the one in the middle.
Right.
And what separates people from just crossing over into the Grand Line, unless they go through Reverse Mountain, are the 2 calm belts on both sides. So there's no way to get into the Grand Line unless you're willing to sail through a whole, like, I guess, belt of Sea Kings that are crazy big.
Yes.
Because I think that was the joke too. They did start sailing without a log pose almost. And they did, I think, get into one calm belt. And there was a Sea King that came out of the ocean.
Didn't
And
like
the
go
ship-
over the ship a few times.
It went
Like,
over the ship. There was one that like its head popped out and like the ship was on its head. And so it was like small. The ship was small. And they were like, "Oh my God."
Wasn't this one of what? Didn't Shanks like literally turn one of these away with Conqueror's Hockey, or somebody did? I think it was this exact same beast that they're fighting in that scene that they're like going against. I think somebody had like used Conqueror's Hockey and like, whoo, like no more.
Are you talking about the first scene with Shanks in the beginning?
Was it maybe that was the first scene? Was it?
Oh yeah, that was the first scene.
It's
Shanks-
implied
yeah.
that look that he gave was
Yeah.
It's Conqueror's Hockey.
Yeah.
It sure is. Yeah.
What a power
Definitely.
skill, because those monsters were giving them a run for their money, and Shanks' first episode, stop.
I only lost a limb, but whatever.
And honestly, he let that happen. He did not. Honestly, he probably could have
why.
avoided that.
I wonder like what will they actually say? Oh, he did this because it was going to. Who knows? Like
BS.
I wonder, like
Such
some
BS.
bull crap. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that was needed.
Aside from that, is that all of Whiskey Peak, or is there a little bit?
No, that's Reverse Mountain.
Reverse Mountain.
Then
okay.
there's Whiskey Peak.
Right.
And-
Whiskey Peak is the bar, right, where they get drunk. I think?
Yeah, they feed them, they drink them, and it's revealed that they're Baroque works. And this is we already met Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday, aka Vivi, but
Right.
here the Baroque works is here. Criminal organization, they're all agents of Baroque works, and the only people who don't get knocked out is Zoro and Nami. I don't remember what Nami does, but Zoro proceeds to beat the crap out of all of them, and he wins. And
Right.
then Luffy wakes up, and he's upset because he thought they were good people. He doesn't know that they're Baroque work. So I think Luffy and Zoro start fighting. And I actually
They
remember the
did.
4Kids promo for this. It was like, Luffy and Zolo are fighting. And it's like, Solo. Luffy.
Oh, I actually remember this. Yeah, the
Right.
4Kids dub version. Yeah. I
So,
remember.
yeah. See, again, I feel I fell off on these episodes when it came to 4Kids. I did rewatch them in Funimation, but I know they took out some Baroque work members. Like there's like Mr. Five who looks like Lenny Kravitz.
That's the guy with the boogers that explode.
Yes, him.
Okay.
Yes.
I
So
remember
stupid
him.
again. Look at these stupid
They're silly.
devil fruits.
I thought that was an OP power. It's boogers that they're bombs.
I mean,
They're
it's cool.
bombs.
There's also the girl who, when she jumps up and falls, she like weighs a ton.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but I remember the Viz translation was she ate the kilo fruit.
Yeah, that
So
sounds.
that let her increase, so she could be as light as a feather when she's going in the air to like float or whatever, and then she could weigh like 8 tons or something and crush you. So they got some creative powers in here. They were cool.
Right.
Baroque works gets introduced, and this is like the first like really big ongoing saga that we get like kind of dip our feet into.
Well, we don't know how big it's gonna be, but
Right.
it's a big deal because at this point, Vivi does give a little backstory. She's like, I'm actually a princess. Mr. 8 here, that's Igaram. He's my my father's advisor. And we enter Baroque Works because we believe Baroque Works is plotting against Alabasta. And they're like, please help us. Please help us. I think that's the basis.
Yeah,
Like-
she reveals Crocodile, and like they talk about like that's who's pretty much going to be what they got to fight against, and then Zoro has that fight, I think, with her. Like
With her?
like throw something, or like he did something. There was like a mini fight. Like there was a little commotion because aren't they bounty hunters or something?
Yeah. They're criminals. Yes, they are bounty hunters. They're bounty hunters.
Right. And then they saw Zoro, and there was like a fight. That's like what I remember. I think Zoro did something, but I just remember them like, oh, pause.
Peacock Slasher. I remember that move
God.
from Vivi. I hated it.
Waste of time. Waste of time. It was like the dumbest thing you could have given her. Whatever.
Oh, isn't this where we see Nico Robin?
We do meet Nico Robin for the first time.
Yes. And I don't know if this, because the first memory I have of meeting her was when it was like the big explosion. She just ends up on the Straw Hat ship, and she has her legs crossed, and she's just like,
Yes, because
Yeah.
she just tried to blow up Igaram. And,
Right.
right. Or he lives, but
Right.
it was pretty like, like, why'd you do that? So-
Exactly.
And nobody would have thought this person would be eventually,
Straw Hat.
a
I
Straw
didn't think
Hat.
so. I did
Hell
not.
no,
didn't.
nobody.
I
There's
was like,
no
they need to
reason
fuck-
to.
I was like, they need to fuck her up. Like they need to get her off the ship because she looks extremely dangerous.
Yeah, because like this is the first time we get introduced to a Straw Hat that is like an antagonist to what is
yeah.
going on to the story. So they're like, yeah, there's no way Luffy's gonna recruit her. There's no way.
The only one that was an antagonist.
I mean, you could argue for a time like maybe Frankie later
Oh.
on.
That was
in
like
the very beginning, very beginning, when they were like, when they did the whole thing with Usopp and all that stuff.
And they went and beat up the Frankie family. They pummeled the Frankie
They
family.
beat the
Uh-huh.
crap out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you can make the argument, but straight up antagonist, Nico Robin was a straight up
Yeah.
antagonist.
Right.
In the beginning, right.
But yeah, there's really not a lot that happens in Whiskey Peak that I feel...
Again, it's a transition. Reverse Loguetown is transition to get to the Grand Line. Reverse Mountain is transition to get into the Grand Line, and then Whiskey Peak is the prologue to Alabasta Saga. It's like, because yes, they do meet them at Reverse Mountain, but
Right.
Whiskey Peak was like this is what's going on in these next couple of islands.
Right.
Vivi is your, the motivating factor of it all. They're going to help this princess reclaim her country from this criminal organization. So this is the setup. This arc was the setup.
Right, exactly. And then after this is Little Garden. Got it. I guess that's it for this episode of One Piece Chronicles. We covered a lot. There was a lot we talked about. Loguetown.
So short.
It's so short.
So
Loguetown's
short.
only 5
It is. We were
chapters.
talking about stuff that had nothing to do with Loguetown.
The great
So
what?
short.
Everything we talked about was about
It's okay.
Loguetown.
It's okay. I had fun regardless. It's okay.
So short.
Loguetown, Reverse Mountain, Whiskey Peak. There's a lot to digest for One Piece in this One Piece Chronicles. Next week, we're covering Little Garden. There's a lot to go into with Little Garden. And yeah, I would say that wraps up this week's episode of the Yonkō Table with their One Piece Chronicles. If you enjoy what we had to say, leave a like, leave a thumbs up wherever you're listening to us on. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, at the Yonkō Table. Give us a like, give us a shout out, and let us know your thoughts. But with that, everyone, I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, and fellow Supernova Kame Chris. Signing off, guys, and take care.